I once confided in someone I thought I could trust and shared a deeply personal experience with them. Within a few days, my entire social circle was affected and became so distorted and perverted as to be unrecognizable. The betrayal left a deep wound that took years to heal. This incident taught me an important lesson about the risks associated with oversharing. Since I am here today to teach you this lesson, you won't have to go through the trouble of learning it the hard way. We are driven to expose our souls to the world. What is the reason for this choice? In this age of continuous communication, this is a question that continues to torment us. The innate desire to feel connected to others and the thirst for approval that corrodes our very beings are the forces that drive us forward. However, there is something I would like to share with you, dear friends. Although this need is natural, it can be a very dangerous siren song. We communicate with each other because we crave understanding, acceptance, and the feeling that we are not alone in this vast and often cold cosmos. In all honesty, it's a sudden and pleasant impulse. By being vulnerable, we are able to bond, cultivate empathy, and build community. However, here's the problem. Not everyone deserves to enter your private refuge. A worrying level of oversharing has become the norm thanks to social media. Our successes, our tragedies, and the most intimate aspects of our lives are broadcast to an audience that can range from hundreds to thousands to millions of people. And for what reason? For the sweet, sweet dopamine rush that comes with every single like, comment, and share. Isn't it a truly intoxicating substance? The feeling of being noticed and having an impact. However, at what cost do we try to obtain this validation? Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine being able to communicate your deepest concerns, your deepest hopes, and your rawest emotions to the whole world. Now imagine that these same vulnerabilities are used against you in a distorted and direct way. You would be surprised at how often this happens. The risks associated with indiscriminate sharing are numerous. In the realm of the digital marketplace, your personal information is transformed into currency. People who want to harm you will use your shortcomings as ammunition to use against you. Your true self is transformed into a commodity that is packaged and offered for sale to the highest bidder. However, we continue to communicate and seek that connection and validation, despite the threat of being completely absorbed. In fact, it's a precarious balance, isn't it? Between openness and protection, between vulnerability and strength, there is a balance at stake. First of all, dear friends, as we move forward, let's take a closer look at the ways in which we share information. Let's investigate the reasons for our intense need to connect with the outside world. Let's reflect on whether it's really necessary to transmit every single idea, feeling, and experience we have. Always keep in mind that your inner world is a safe haven. It's a place of power, mystery, and boundless potential. Observe it carefully. Trust is the topic we'll be discussing now. Is it possible to fully know another person's intentions when we're only dealing with them through screens and pixels in the age of digital technology? We can't help but be troubled by this question, can we? Because of the society we live in, relationships are more complicated than ever. We meet people from all over the world. We develop relationships with people we have never met in person, and we share our lives with an audience made up of people we have never met before. However, the point is that trust is a fragile creature. It breaks easily, especially in this internet-based environment in which we regularly move. Consider the following scenario. You decide to reveal a secret to a friend you met online, someone you've known for several months or even years. The feeling of being connected to them is strong. Then the day comes when you discover that they have revealed your secret to other people, or even worse, used it against you. You'd be surprised how often this happens. This is where the idea of false intimacy comes in. It's common to experience a sense of intimacy in our online connections that is neither genuine nor reciprocated. The constant communication we engage in is mistaken for a real connection. It's easy for us to confuse likes and comments with true understanding. Hello, dear friends. This is a dangerous illusion. The way we assess people's personalities has been altered by technology. When it comes to forming opinions about people, we rely on profile photos, status updates, and carefully curated online identities. However, how much information can we actually glean about a person's fundamental character from these digital crumbs? What measures can we take to ensure that the individual on the other side of the screen is who they say they are? Imagine for a moment that they tell you that trust is not something that is given freely, but rather something that must be earned. Would you agree that in this age of instant gratification, this is a revolutionary concept, and yet it's true? Because trust is such a precious commodity, it must be guarded and only granted to people who have proven that they deserve it. Now, in the midst of a sea of digital masks, how do we distinguish these trustworthy individuals? It's not an easy task, but it's not impossible either. Find out if their words and behavior are consistent with each other. Observe not only how they treat you, but also how they treat other people. Examine how they deal with disagreements and disappointments. Are they respectful of the boundaries you have set? Do they keep their commitments? The indicators of a trustworthy person are those who are true to their nature. Remember that trust is developed over time through the exchange of experiences and mutual respect on both sides. The fact that a person has a large number of followers or an attractive online presence is not relevant to our discussion. What makes the difference is the depth and quality of the interactions. Have you ever thought that the most important room in your life might be the one you can't see? Right now we're going to talk about an idea that has the potential to completely transform the way you approach personal development and relationships. It's about your inner refuge, and it's more powerful than any geographical location you might establish. I would like to ask you a question. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you choose who can see your true self? It is a question we often do not ask ourselves, despite the fact that it is essential for our health. This sacred space within yourself is your inner sanctuary and is the place where your true nature is found. Your deepest dreams, worries and thoughts about your life are all kept there. It also needs protection, just like a physical sanctuary. You don't need to build walls to create an inner sanctuary. Your goal should be to create an environment where you are free to be who you truly are without the fear of being judged or betrayed. Let's put it in the context of a garden. Your role as a gardener requires you to make thoughtful decisions about which seeds to plant and which flowers to grow. Some will be granted permission to stroll through and admire the beauty, while others will only be able to catch a glimpse from afar. The wonderful thing about this journey is that you are the one in charge. Who can enter your inner world and how much they are allowed to see is something you decide. It's not about being hidden or walled up. Rather, it's about being discriminating in your choices. Always keep in mind that not everyone has the right to know your deepest and most private thoughts and emotions. While there are people who are only passing through the garden of your life, there are others who should stay and contribute to its growth. How do you start building this safe haven? Self-awareness is the first step. Take the time to get to know yourself, including your goals, your beliefs, and the things that are non-negotiable. This will be the foundation for building your inner world. The next step is to establish clear boundaries. These are invisible fences that protect your refuge from any potential threat. They are not designed to keep anyone out, but rather to ensure that only people who respect and appreciate you can enter. As you work to create this place, keep in mind that it is acceptable to exercise discretion, constantly prioritizing quality over quantity. The value of a few genuine bonds is greater than that of 100 superficial ones. Another important point is that your inner refuge must be a place of development rather than stagnation. Ignore it and let it develop like you. It should be a reflection of your journey, the things you have learned, and the ever-evolving person you are. I would like to introduce you to this inner sanctuary, which is your source of energy. It is the place where you reconnect with your authentic self, where you discover clarity, and where you fill up with energy. Make sure you guard it with all your might, but don't hesitate to show those who have earned your trust the beauty it possesses. The right people won't trample on your flowers, they'll water them. Imagine that your life is a book. Some chapters are intended for distribution, while others are more suitable for private consumption. But how do you determine which is which? Engaging in the practice of selective sharing is analogous to being the editor of your own narrative. It's time to acquire the necessary skills to compose a captivating story without divulging the full plot. For all of you, ladies and gentlemen, the ability to share selectively is a skill that has the potential to improve your relationships and safeguard your inner world. The challenge lies in finding the optimal balance between openness and privacy. Imagine dancing. You make a small revelation and then take a step back. After revealing a part of yourself to another person, you wait to see their reaction. An important point to keep in mind is that not all thoughts, feelings, or experiences need to be shared with the whole world. Some moments are exclusively for you or a small group of people. Sharing everything reduces the value of what you are sharing because you are sharing everything. It's like giving away all your possessions. In a short time, you will have nothing left that is truly exceptional. On the other hand, how can you choose what to reveal and what to keep to yourself? The first thing to do is ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Is it to make a statement, to create a bond, or because you truly believe that the person you're giving this knowledge to will benefit from it? Pause and reevaluate your decision to share if you're doing it for the desire to receive acceptance or attention. Then, think about the person you're sharing with. They have a right to this information, but have they earned it? How trustworthy have they proven themselves to be? Always remember that trust is earned over time through consistent behavior. If someone asks you to share your innermost thoughts, don't be in a hurry to do so. At this point, let's talk about the influence of mystery. When you keep some of your thoughts to yourself, you become more intriguing. People are strongly attracted to those who are complex and whose identity cannot be fully understood at first glance. You can strengthen your bond with others by providing information in a way that creates a sense of mystery and interest. However, selective sharing is not only about making sure you protect yourself, but also about showing respect to others. When you are about to reveal information about another person, you should first ask yourself, is this my story to tell? If not, keep your privacy. Be assured that your prudence will be remembered and appreciated. The concentric circles of sharing is a method that I have found useful. Create a mental image of yourself at the center, surrounded by circles of increasing diameter. The innermost circle is reserved for personal experiences and innermost thoughts. You will be able to share these more freely as you move outwards. With the help of this image, you will be able to determine what information is suitable for communicating with the various people in your life. Always keep in mind that the goal is not to become shy or reserved. It is important to intentionally share what you have with others. Make sure you give meaning to the moment when you decide to open up. Never share something out of a desire for attention or praise. Rather, do it from a place of authenticity. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep this point in mind as we come to the end of our journey together. Your personal life is an extremely precious gift. It is not something that should be thoughtlessly shared with the world. It is a treasure that should be guarded, valued, and shared only with those people who have proven themselves worthy of your trust. Remember that you are making an investment in yourself every time you decide not to reveal too much information. You are developing a stronger sense of self, independent of validation from the outside world. In this way, you build a life full of real relationships and not superficial interactions. It is important to be careful about the people you allow into your inner sanctum as you move forward. Choose carefully. Share only when you feel it is appropriate, and watch how your relationships become more meaningful and your personal development accelerates. It is up to you to write your story. Create a masterpiece